Hey, I'm Michael Frew. I'm the owner and operator of QuotaGuard and doing this video to celebrate 11 years in business. I think a lot of us understand how hard it is to get a technology business to last even just a decade. There's a lot of VC funded companies that have more money, more counseling, more press, and all the advantages in the world, and yet they go out of business. And here we are, a self-funded business, bootstrapped from the start. When Tim, the original designer, entrepreneur, put this together, I came in a couple years later, I acquired the business and have grown it from there. My biggest point I want to say is bootstrapped businesses can be successful. They can change lives. QuotaGuard's a great example of that. And it doesn't always have to be a VC funded or outside funded business that's going to change your lifestyle. I wanted to bring up three things that I thought were interesting in the last 11 years. One is that dangerous period when the business starts to scale, and that's usually a 1 to 3 year period. I wanted to talk a little bit about small businesses doing one thing and just doing one thing really well and not allowing that horizontal scope creep to occur that we see so often. And finally, for me, how the most rewarding thing in the business isn't the money, isn't running the business, it's actually talking to the customers, which are other engineers and developers. First off, there's three other companies that have made this whole long journey with us. One of them is Heroku. They're venture-backed. They are a little bit different than a bootstrapped company, but they've been with us. They're our favorite marketplace, and I just wanted to give them a shout out. The other two are small, single or very small team businesses like QuotaGuard. It's Deadman Snitch and TarSnap. Both of those have been around the entire time that we've been in business. They've always been super fast with customer service. Their prices are reasonable and their service is super steady. So just wanted to give a shout out to both of those. Thanks for making the journey with us, and I hope you're having just as much success as QuotaGuard is. Just a quick timeline. This all started back in 2013 with Tim Williams as the original entrepreneur. He's now the CTO of a company called Zivio. He started the business for the first 18 to 24 months and then decided that he was going to sell it and work on his next entrepreneurial venture. That's where I showed up in the year of 2015. Tim made a transition starting with a dynamic IP proxy solution and realized by listening to customers that what people really wanted was a static IP solution on the Heroku marketplace. He built out that solution and launched it right before I acquired the business. The next 3 years, we were focused on that dangerous period of scalability, and it took 3 years to reach $1 million in ARR, which was a great celebration point. In 2019, we were asked to introduce a solution that became QuotaGuard Shield. This is for HIPAA and personally identifiable information that people are passing through our proxy. It's the only truly end-to-end secure service available globally, and we're very proud that we were able to invent and deploy that for customers. 2023 is our first decade birthday, and by 2024, we had actually eclipsed $10 million in total revenue in those first 11 years. So let's talk about some of those interesting highlights to start with that 1 to 3 year period that is very dangerous for companies. And this is when scalability starts to become a challenge. Most businesses are started by entrepreneurs who don't really believe that the business is going to reach thousands and thousands of customers and be growing by hundreds per month. That kind of growth can really stress the original infrastructure that was designed by the original entrepreneur. And at one point, you finally have to kind of slow that growth down, step back and say, we need to work on the infrastructure. We need to be able to scale with this business. I've had to do this with GigElixir as well. The company started to grow such that we needed to step back, readdress some of the original architecture decisions, change some of that around so that the growth could continue without causing issues with the customers. QuotaGuard went through this period and we had some stability issues. We would have proxies that would go down that would take us a while to get back running. It was a very frustrating time. It was a nervous time for me. Every morning I woke up with anxiety because of that inability to make sure that everything would be running overnight without issues. We put in a lot of alarms, we put in a lot of stability. This is where we came up with the dual load balancer, the dual proxy solution, so that if things went down, there was always a backup solution. We started putting in automatic restart scripts, and this brought that stability that we always wanted into QuotaGuard and allowed me to sleep a lot better at night and give customers that guarantee that their proxy is still going to be running, whether one, two, or both, all the time, so that their service is never interrupted. Once we put all this in, the next big challenge was actually working those soft skills of contacting customers and encouraging them to move to some of our dedicated proxy solutions. By having them on dedicated resources, they removed all of the challenges and struggles that you have with shared resources, where one customer can crush the resource pool or you get a noisy neighbor that gets a big flood of information, and that's going to slow down your requests and your website. So we had to reach out, do that soft skill work, and get customers onto some of these dedicated solutions. The challenge there is that it changes the IP address. And as anybody that's listening to this is a customer, you know how hard sometimes it can be if you have IP addresses that are passed along downstream. They need to be allow listed by other groups. It can be a real hassle to change those IPs. So that was a really delicate time trying to help good customers that are on larger plans move over to dedicated resources without interrupting their business while we made those changes. The second thing I really wanted to cover was how I think small businesses should do one thing and just do one thing really well. We were approached by Heroku that had a bunch of healthcare customers that couldn't quite qualify for HIPAA compliance because the original QuotaGuard static and all static IP solutions have endpoints that are not as secure as required. So that's where we came up with the QuotaGuard Shield service. And this stayed in that same narrow lane where we're still just doing one thing and doing it really well. It's just we made a service that had a more secure option to it. It costs a little bit more, but it definitely brought the security for companies that have HIPAA information, personally identifiable information, and banking information. They finally had an end-to-end truly secure solution. It was a great selling point for QuotaGuard Shield, and it very quickly grew into a six-figure business in just a few months. Obviously, some of that was cannibalizing the regular QuotaGuard static customer base, but to be able to grow a business into six figures that fast was really extraordinary. Finally, the last thing I want to touch about really quickly is what I get out of the business, and it's not really the money we make or the opportunity to run a business. It's getting to speak with developers and engineers on a daily basis, mainly through customer service. I'm an ex-engineer. I got moved into management, and I never quite caught on at the time that that was going to get me away from doing coding and doing the things that I really loved in IT, and then just starting to manage people. To be able to be this age, because I got some gray hair, and be able to talk to engineers and other developers through customer service is really rewarding for me, because I've lost that opportunity when I was younger since I moved into management so quickly. So for me, that's just such a great benefit of having your own business. And I think a lot of people find their own special thing that they love about owning their online business. And for me, it's just engaging with the customers that are mostly engineers and developers. Last thing, I want to thank the customers, and I want to thank my team. Both have been fantastic. Customers are always great to talk to, and my team has been one of the most extraordinary ones I've ever worked with. I'm so fortunate for them to be around. I hope they watch this video and feel appreciated. So thank you, everyone. Thanks for listening to me just talk about a business that's been open for 11 years. I hope you got something out of it, and can't wait to see you soon. Thanks again.